Hey guys, I'm here to do a quick tag video. So I saw a video last week, I think it was, by my lovely friend Andri, and it was what is the best LV bag ever. And I thought, oh, that looks like a fun one. And I also hate tags where I'm like, oh, I can't choose. With this one, I just knew what my answer was straight away. So I'm going to jump straight in instead of giving you any preamble. My best Louis Vuitton bag ever is this one. So this is the Speedy Bandolier in the 30 size in Damier Ebene. And I think that I would say specifically this size, specifically the bandolier, and specifically in this print. For myself, it's the best Louis Vuitton bag ever, and also as a recommendation for other people who maybe have never bought a high-end bag or have never bought from Louis Vuitton before. I think this is the best sort of starting point as a bag because it is so versatile, and if you've got a small collection or you're just starting out, it will do a lot of jobs for you. So I'm just going to run down. So first one thing to consider is cost. This is relative compared to some other bags from Louis Vuitton and other designers. It's relatively an okay price point. It's around £1,000. And you are paying significantly more than you pay for the classic without the strap. But for me, the strap makes it so much more usable. Unless you are strictly a top handle girl, I would never go with buying one without the strap. That's just my opinion. Because it's a good size. It's a medium to large bag. You can use it in lots of situations, which I'll go through in a minute. I think the cost per wear on a Speedy is just peanuts because well, for me, I use it in the winter months, especially when we're not in lockdown like now. In normal life, this is the sort of bag that I sometimes put my stuff in and I won't switch out of it for a fortnight because it's just so good. So there's the cost, which I think is great. The versatility. So you can wear this for work. You can wear this to take your kids out on the weekend. I know a lot of people say, oh, you can't use a Speedy 30, maybe a 25, but you can't use a 30 in the evening. Says who? It depends on your lifestyle. I am not dressy. I am hardly going to cocktail parties or balls or, whatever. I don't do much where I have to dress formally. I go out to the movies and for a burger with my husband or my friend, or maybe go out to a dinner party. Yeah, I probably wouldn't use this, but if you worked in a city centre and you wanted to go out and meet your friends after work, this is absolutely fine. It can look quite smart, especially if you carry it more as like a handbag and you don't have it on crossbody. So it's really versatile. The other thing is it's quite large and it holds loads. However, unlike some other bags of this kind of size, it's really light to begin with. So you can load it up and it's not going to get ridiculously heavy because you're kind of starting with nothing. It's just the weight of the items that you put in it. It's the lightest bag of this size that I've got. What else? It's just classic. I know a lot of people are like, oh, whatever, boring, like get fashion, get colours, whatever, don't stay in that boring lane of like what has got longevity. But for me and the amount that I buy, I don't really, as much as you're going to be like, oh, you're always doing vlog sales. Once a year, I do tend to edit and refine, but I'm doing it less and less as I get closer and closer to a collection that works for me. And I hate doing that. I don't hate selling things, and I hate things that really date and then you're like, oh, I'm sort of stuck with it now, or, it wore really badly. So this, to me, this is my second one in the 30. My first one, I used it for like 4 years so heavily, and I had a bit of wear on the corners, and the lock was, it was just time for a real favourite like this. I just wanted to sell it. I got a really good amount for it, and then I had to just put in an extra kind of £200 to get a brand new one again, and I was happy because basically that meant that for that 4 years of use, I had almost paid £200 to use that bag 4 years. So for me, that was like a rental, that was a great deal. This is going to look newer for longer compared to the monogram one with the vachetta, and I just think, like I was saying about going out in the evening or wearing like slightly smarter clothes, like if you were wearing a business suit and walking around in central London, I think this looks a bit chicer and more understated and less obvious than a monogram one, but that is just my taste. So if you've got a monogram one, a 30, and you load it up with your work papers, whatever, but it's just, for me, because it's just the darker, richer brown and less patterned, thing is with the bean that people never mention as why. It's not the checkerboard itself. The dark trim is made up of one of these colours. So the whole thing is quite neutral. With monogram, the vachetta is such a different colour from the canvas, and it makes the whole appearance of the bag look busier, in my opinion. And that's why I as someone who likes quite low-key things, I tend to like damier bean more, or I've recently fallen in love since getting this with monogram with black trim. Does a similar thing in that it makes it less shouty than a monogram bag with loads of vachetta. So I had the Speedy 25, I loved it, and then I just went through a phase where I was like, oh, that's really out there, LV, it's a bit loud. I think when the pandemic hit, I sort of felt a bit self-conscious maybe about using my designer items. You know, I'd go into the supermarket and people would be like, check her out, you know, like, so I started using my more understated things. Anyway, I digress. So this bag is great. You've got top handle, you've got this strap, which has got 2 bits if you want it to be a shoulder bag, and it's just the perfect, comfortable, like, length for me. And then, where is it? In here, there's just one more section of strap, which goes in the middle here and makes this a perfect crossbody length. And not only that, you've also got on each section 2 or 3 adjustables. So you can use 2 or 3 sections to get the perfect strap length for you, whether you like a long strap on and having the bag hanging down by your side, or you like a shoulder bag, or I sometimes like, I never wear it without these 2 bits at least. Like, even if I'm using it as a handbag, I prefer it with the strap attached, because if you take it off, you just have this ring just there doing nothing, and I think it kind of looks funky, whereas on the classic you've just got the lovely leaf there and it just looks really plain. Just take that off because it's jangling about. Yeah, I just think it's great. And also, you know what, like, when you buy one of these, on the whole, they tend to produce, because it's quite a simple silhouette, they tend to be nicely finished, and you know, you're not likely to open the box and be like, oh my god, that bag is so jacked up, I have to send it back. Whereas some of the more fiddly, like the Pochette Métis and the Palm Spring Minis, it's such a gamble. You order it online because at the moment here stores are closed. You open it and it's so off-centered, and I mean, like, someone who I'm going to tag in this video, Catherine, I think she went through 4 Palm Springs Minis, and they were all had so many things wrong with them that she's actually scrubbed that piece from her wish list entirely. That's really a shame. But, you know, they just don't seem to be able to make things to the, you know, like, to consistent quality control. I don't really understand it. But, yeah, this is my favourite. It's not necessarily the most exciting because it's just so familiar to me by now. But it's just such a workhorse. Like, I will take this on holiday on a plane, on a city break. I would take this if I was going out with the kids on the weekend and things were open and we were going to go and walk around the shops or go to the zoo and get lunch. I could fit, like, snacks in here for Cece, maybe, like, spare clothes, gloves for us all. Like, it's just so roomy, but it still looks like a handbag. I'm not massively a backpack person, so this sort of thing is more useful to me. Yes, it's quite similar in size. Someone was saying to me the other day, do you need this if you have a Neverfull MM? For me, it's just different. You can close it and it's more secure because it's got a zip. It's got grab handles, whereas the handles on the Neverfull, I'm pointing because it's over there, are like kind of thinner, and they can dig in if you carry it like on the crook of your arm and you've got bare arms, or up on the shoulders. Particularly in the damier bean, it can get a bit diggy after a while, and you can't just chuck it crossbody. When I'm with my kids, sometimes I'm holding Cece's hand, I might have groceries. Sometimes I'm like, oh, my bag is so annoying, I need to just sling it on crossbody. So this is just really a good workhorse bag. And I know a lot of people now that have had this bag have sold it. If you're really into high fashion and you're more into styling outfits, and there's nothing wrong, I'm not criticizing, but you're more into what is the silhouette now, what is the look, what a design is doing, what direction are they going in, then you're probably not going to go out now and buy a Speedy. If you've got one, you've either sold it or you use it as like a gym thing, or a kind of a, you know, it's really old and beat up and you think, oh, it's not worth selling it now. But for me, I always want to have one of these that's in good shape. If this one gets really battered in 5 years, I'll sell that and reinvest and get it again, because it's just a staple for me. And in this size, I just think it is the most practical one. If you only really do crossbody, like my friend Shabby's got this in the 25, and it's perfect for her because she just doesn't do big bags and she wears it crossbody all the time. So then that's a perfect size for that. But if you use it as a kind of grab bag like I do, the opening is just nice and roomy. You've got that pocket in there that you can put a small wallet or something in that you want to keep separate, or your phone. It's just ultra practical, ultra versatile. If you are someone who has a few nice leather bags but no designer bags, and you just want one bag that you can use in loads of situations, I would highly recommend this as your first foray, because it is just a unit, like really easy to match with outfits. It's really practical. You don't have to worry about it in like the British weather. It's great. Yeah, I love it so much, and I'll never be without one. I hope I covered everything. Thank you, Andri, for tagging me. I'm going to tag 2 people who, because I think by now a lot of the people I would tag have done this, or I've seen that they've been tagged by lots of people already. So I'm going to tag 2 of my favourite YouTubers who I discovered in 2020, and that is Catherine R, and I'll leave the tags below, and also KK Love. I always screw up your handle, I'm so sorry, but I will write it down below. KK Loves LV or CC, what is it? I will fix that and write it down below. But I would love to see you guys' response to this one, because you've both had various Louis Vuitton bags at different times and stuff, and it would be interesting to see what you would pick. Anyway, take care guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.